Space upon a time in the Basolian Galaxy.
This is the Miami Bass Podcast, where 808 sounds meet history and the legends who built the style step up to the mic. I am DJ Ice. Today's guest is a standout performer of bass music, a lyricist, author, and verbal architect who's helped define the unique sounds coming out of the throbbing subwoofers in your part of the bass planet. His groundbreaking 1992 debut album, The Kings of Bass, and all other best-selling album releases including For the Bass Lovers and Ghetto Bass are classics. His hit singles include 30s and Lows, All Hoes, as well as The Bomb from the soundtrack of the major motion picture Trippin'. Along with DJ Fury for years, he has been dropping bass and street knowledge while shaking entire cities with his signature sound. Please welcome the voice of Bass Patrol, RX Lord. How did you begin in rap music, period, and then bass music?
The rap music, it came from my uncle. He was in the military. He was in the North Bronx. He's had these tapes from WBLS, and at the time we were in Mississippi. So I was in like outside of Biloxi. I have a lot of family in New Orleans, so we were like on the Gulf Coast on the Mississippi side. And so it's nothing to do, you know. And so my uncle come down these tapes. I'd be in his room when he's gone. I'm listening to these tapes, man. Mantronics, Slick Rick, Treat Her Like a Prostitute, Dougie Fresh, Kool Moe Dee, Skeezer, Eric B. and Rakim, the South Bronx, Boogie Down Production. This one, Will Smith, this was the Fresh Prince when he was doing Girls of the World Ain't Nothing But Trouble. These storytellers, man, and the styles, man.
Can you describe some of your inspiration for that? Was this an environment that you witnessed, or how did this come about?
Oh man, it was something that I witnessed. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and then we left around the time when the Cardinals had won the World Series. So it's like '82. That's when we moved to the Gulf Coast. I saw a lot of things, but together my parents were able to do well. You know, my stepfather and then my mother. But I saw a lot of things, man. I saw the shootouts in St. Louis, and then when we had gotten to Florida, you know, they were, you know, a middle class family, but I was familiar with what I had seen as a kid in St. Louis. I was trying to find, for the most part, like where the black people at. Like, you know, we were in a very nice area, but it was either predominantly white and it was mixed with Puerto Rican. And Florida is so diverse, and so I was looking for like the hoods, and so I found Sanford. And so a lot of the times when, like, and you're talking at this time, the late 80s, 88, and this is when the crack epidemic was like major. It was like, especially in Florida. Me being seen other places, I could see it stood out, the cocaine and the drugs and the crack. And man, everybody was, if you was getting some money at that time, you was selling cocaine, but a lot of these guys were catching like federal charges, and in Florida they were taking your whole family. They may let some people go after, you know, they see that they, you know, didn't have anything to do. But I was seeing that, and that's where like songs like 30s and Lows came from. Yeah, man, it was real. It was things that I seen, a lot of it, most of it, either personally firsthand or me just telling stories from what was being seen, and I was trying to like make it make sense, where, you know, you can learn from it and not be a victim of it.
Being produced by DJ Fury, of course. Can you describe how you met DJ Fury and how that formation of Bass Patrol came together?
We were in Longwood, Florida. We had relocated to Central Florida this was like 87, and I had gone to a different school. We moved, and then the school system, you know, the zone that I was going to would send me to school with kids from Sanford, Florida, which is like, remember, this is like the height of me, because I would have to go stay with my grandmother in Mississippi, and I listened to those tapes. So I've been writing lyrics all summer. So by the time I start going to school, man, I would write them and memorize them. And I was trying to really, at that time, like trying to emulate Rakim. He was like a major thing for me, right? It was like Rakim and like Slick Rick. Like I'd be battling these guys at school. And then I had a little beatbox, and then we would do this like every day, like at least 2-3 times a day throughout the week, right? And so it was like a big thing in school because nobody was doing that then. It was like a major thing. And to elaborate on that, Sanford and Orlando, they're kind of like rivals. I mean, Orlando is bigger, and Orlando has much more to offer, but Sanford wants to compete. We would battle at school, and so one day, a friend of mine, we were cool. Dude named Derek Williams. If I talk on 30s and low, say Derek Williams, East Berlin. There's no other. He came to me. He's like, "Hey man, I know a DJ, man. You need a DJ." Because he saw I was on, he could see something. He knew what I was trying to do. He said he's in jail. He's incarcerated right now. He's just getting out the military. But I'm gonna hook you up with him. Give me a couple of weeks. And so those few weeks had passed, and he said, "Okay, can you come over like that weekend?" He said, "Come over." And so I came over. He listened to me, and he was like, "Cool," you know what I'm saying? But Derek wanted to rap too at the time, but he couldn't really rap at the time because that was something no one was doing, and it would take years. I had been doing it for years at that time. So I had been on doing it for like about a couple of years. By the time we got to Florida, I had like perfected a craft, and so he heard it, and so we started making demos. Man, that was like late '88. And by the time 90 came, we had a deal with Suntown that fell through. But then we did a tape called the BOS tapes, like around 91. Man, and that was something heavy because you gotta understand we had been making tapes since like late '88, and so it's 91, and at that time we had like 7 demo tapes, and so Fury started to put the tapes in store on consignment, and man, it was major, man.
What was the idea? Just to join the Miami bass movement down there, or what was the
Man,
thinking?
I used to sell candy when I was a kid, like when we first, came in like '87. It was like a Cuban dude who sold candy. We was kids, it was like junior salesman. Kids sell candy, get a little money after school. I make some good money selling that candy. But the little Cuban guy, come up playing the tapes from Miami. I was like 12 or 13, somewhere up in there. But he had his little boom box and he playing Bass Mechanic and Megatron, the bass that ate Miami. And you gotta understand it, at this time in Florida, this is prior to any of the No Limits. This is what was going on at that time. And Miami, this is Luke. Luke was at that time, he was like in the forefront of the game. And that's where you went to get deals, man. With all due respect. Magic Mike is not an enemy of ours. Let me say that. He's not an enemy at all. We were RX Lord was it's a battle rapper. We were battling, man. It wasn't a beef. It was a battle. We were battling. So and I would go to this was Funtastics, is a skating rink in Orlando and Pine Hills. And this is where the kids went to skating rinks. And I would see Magic Mike. You know what I'm saying? When he was the DJ there. It's like this is 88. It's like 88, 89. I would see him but Miami fit us, man. No, it had to be coming out of Miami. So the place we wanted to be big. Those tapes I was telling you about, the VOS tapes.
Yes.
We started doing, and it's crazy because we was like we didn't know what to do because it had like peaked. It was a major hit in Central Florida. And then we were dissing Magic Mike, but that was because of at that time, in the essence of what I was listening to when I was listening to you about these dudes, Slick Rick and Kool Moe Dee, I was walking down the street, rocking my beat, clapping my hand. These were battles, so we battled. So we were battling and putting all this stuff on tape, and it's booming. And we didn't know what to do, so we started doing shows. And at this one particular show at the Breakfast Club, We opened up for, it was Disco Rick and the Dogs. We rocked it, man. We like rock. We killed that show that night. And Disco Rick was back there. And, we was backstage and Disco Rick was talking to Fury. At the time, he was Kid Fury. And he was like, hey, man, y'all hot. He's like, hey, I'm going to give you the information. And I just saw Rick, like Alan Johnston had a party in Atlanta for the 50th base, and he had Webster there, Emmanuel Lewis, and I told Disco Rick, because Disco Rick gave the DJ Kid Fury the information, and B sent Joey the tape, and from that point on it was history. But the only thing was, we would call Brothers of the Struggle the BOS tapes. And that's when Joey gave us that name, as I was saying previously, from the Mills Brothers. Matter of fact, I told you about the Cuban guy. He would play Bass Patrol, like he was playing Magatron and ADE, Bass Mechanic, and all that. He's playing the Alf and all of that. And this is around the time Afro Rican. This is that time, but he gave us that name, the Bass Patrol name.
Bass Patrol did the slower bass. But I noticed on almost every album there was one or two fast-paced dance tracks.
Yeah. Okay. Let me say this. We're Central Florida, man. There's a difference in North Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida, 3 different animals. When it concerns music, at that time, right? Central Florida did not. Half Pint is who really hipped me to really how to rock, bass music, booty shake club, that vibe. And you really didn't hear that from me to like roll it right. Well, I did like Panties to the Side. I'm still being somewhat influenced by the artists for the most part. Half Time. It was Dion. When we did, when we first dropped the Bass Patrol, we went on the road with Half Pint. He just got out of prison, and so. But what I'm trying to say is, in Miami, Half Pint is Miami, and Central Florida is we do like slow bass, man. Even like slow down tapes. And so with me being influenced, like it was perfect for me. Like the Rakim, I love Check Out My Melody. This is just my thing. Like if you listen to Gangs of the Lane, some would say that I sound like Too Short. We had have a large West Coast, following where people purchase a lot of our stuff out west. DJ Kid Fury was Mix Master B, and he used to make these mixtapes, like 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 when we first started rapping and hooking up, like in '88. I was telling them they had all of these little guys like around. I can't name them all, but I was like, man, let's do that like we be like a mixtape, man. Slow it down. We were one of the first, if not the first, to slow down a song and put it on an album and put it out before DJ Screw. We love, but I'm just talking facts right now, right? Yes. And I'm talking about culture and I'm talking about style. Yeah. And so I was like, man, slow it down like we be riding them tapes. You gotta say that I'm a kid. DJ Fury is older than me. I'm like, man, slow it. I'm the one with the ideas. And man, slow it down like we do on the tapes.
Are you still in contact with DJ Fury at all?
No. I mean, I hate to say that. Like I was saying before, with children is passion. With an adult is business. You may think this is friendship and we're gonna be the best or whatever. You all have to be on the same page, on the same accord. So towards the end, like you gotta understand that all like the things that were going on, and like I got a lot of family in New Orleans, so we would head out to New Orleans, and this is when Master P start dropping. I think the ideology of like people owning their own record companies and controlling things and all of this, make this money and stuff. So Magic Mike was doing that too as well. And I think that Fury later on in the years after and especially once we my people plugged us with the deal. That's how we got the deal with Sony with the Trippin' soundtrack, as you said earlier. That was my family. That was my people who did it out in New Orleans. They pulled the plug and made it happen for us to get that deal, right? But I think that I mean, and it's not even a thought. It's just what happened. Fury wanted to be like a Master P, but instead of us being, we were like Eric being Rakim. Now he wants to be P and want me to be mystical. I was Rock Lord. I started off, and that came. There was a large influence. And I keep saying Rakim. That's true. This was like '88, because when I met B, that's what I'm saying. I was Rock Lord, the Brit, right? But these ideas like the bridge, these tapes, man. Rock X rated, lyrically on the rise, dog. RX Lord, Rock X rated, lyrically on the rise, dog. It's like knowledge ranks supreme over nearly everyone. Rock him, Rock Lord, Rock RX. I'm Robert Lewis, the R, the L. Then I want to elaborate too, because a lot of guys don't get their flowers, but Brother Jay from the X Clan, the man and dude, to me, he was one of the coldest dudes on the mic, and I would listen to rap. So all of that stuff is like the battling and the heavy bass from the influence of Central Florida, the slow down bass, and then later on with the influence of like Half Pint showing me how you do it.
And we'll be right back with RX Lord on the Miami Bass podcast. Stay right there.
DJ Ace presents the Jam Pony Express DJs. Friday, April 14th, live at Crave Restaurant and Lounge in Sunrise. Featuring DJ Slick Vic, along with DJ Kuda C, Patron, and more.
And we are back on the Miami Bass podcast. I am DJ Ice. My guest is RX Lord of Bass Patrol. When the Kings of Bass dropped, it made such a huge impact. Were you guys aware of this?
I mean, yes and no. We saw that they show us the billboards and stuff, like Alan said, hey man, look, but we knew it was doing something. We knew it was big, but I don't think I could grasp it. And hold up. Let me say this. The time that the Kings of Bass was out and that DJ Fury was doing those Bassman albums, I was locked up. I went to juvenile because I was a kid. I went to juvenile. That's when Snatching Chains, we used to go snatch chains and stuff. So we got Snatching Chains. I'm wild, man. I'm young. And so I got locked up. This is like 92. This is 92. I got locked up. They sent me to juvenile because I was 17. I wasn't 18 yet. So the Kings of Bass, they're playing it, it's booming. It's at the peak. It's booming. And the peak of Kings of Bass, I'm in juvenile. And then they sent me, I turned 18 because I'm a Libra. So they got locked up in July. They held me till September the 25th, my birthday, and then sent me across the street to the real jail. And then they gave me a bond. I think the jails were trying to teach me a lesson. Like, okay, let me teach you a lesson because I had been doing it for so long, robbing, snatching chains, doing stupid stuff, right? And so that very first royalty that we got for the Kings of Bass album, it bonded me out of jail, and that's when I bought the Cadillac. Yeah, the 7.4 on 30s and Vols. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Right. Did you only hear of the bass music when you got to Florida, or what was that like?
I'm a Southern dude, DJ Ice. I'm from St. Louis, but we was in Mississippi for like 5 years on the outside of New Orleans because my people are in New Orleans. So we would go to New Orleans like all the time. And in New Orleans, it was DJ Jimmy. But let me say this to you. Luke, man, they was playing Throw That D. They was playing Listen Up, y'all, cause that was booming in New Orleans. And this like 87. And I was very familiar with that. When we got to Florida, it was similar, but I was already on Luke, because Luke is before Rap-A-Lot. If you're talking Southern independence, it's Luke. It starts with Luke. And so this is what I was familiar with, right? Even though we're talking, because rap originates in New York, so I guess the top of the food chain, that's what I learned from, which is the top of the food chain, the guys I was making reference to, Derek B and Rakim and so forth. But if you're talking Florida, you're talking independence, man. And so this is what allowed us and influenced us to do what we were doing, because we were young, wild, and free. And so that independence is what gave you the Kings of Bass, and that was by way of that BOS tape. That was the independence, the flow, the battle, the not caring, and I'm young and I'm wild, man. We snatching chains and everybody selling crack and it's candy paints and 30s and cuts and white leather, and it was very real. And so we try to fit all of that into a tape.
Luke, Two Live Crew was definitely part of your influence before that.
Yeah, in '90, Fresh Kid Ice had an artist by the name of Sheikh G, and I was a backup dancer for Sheikh G. Yeah, we would go to Miami, but Fury had the mixed tapes, and what I would do is I would steal my mother's 33s, like no parking on the dance floor. A lot of those samples and stuff, because I heard, what I'm saying, people, doing some samples, right? But a lot at that time they were doing a lot of like James Brown samples. Yeah, so I would take my mama's albums and take them to B. So this is where the, like the SOS Band, The Time, Gigolos, Get Lonely Too with Sweet Nothings, these albums, and I bring them to Fury, and then he would take those samples and then he would make it into a bass beat. Prior to the deal, because Joey gave B the MP3, but prior to that, B was making the bass on a keyboard, right? I think a Kawasaki, and the bass was the thing to do. But it's in the earlier days, like we were talking about '88, we didn't have a bass. Matter of fact, I had a little girlfriend who was in high school. She said, "That's why you ain't got no bass." Okay, I wrote a book called "What God Loves" by Robert N. Lewis, and I talk about some of the things we're speaking on. I touch a lot of that on the books, and it's like real detailed. It's called "What God Loves" on Amazon.com by Robert N. Lewis. But I released a few albums through the years. We got The Fury, DA, Fury of Bass Patrol. It's RX Lord. I dropped that. That was man. That's been about 7 years. But then we got I just did one a year or so ago. The Robert Lewis collection, and I did a little remix of the All Holes, but I used the sample from the original All Holes prior to Bass Patrol from the BOS tapes. Right before we got that deal with Sony, we put out 2 underground tapes under a different name, under the name DMP, right? And I took one of those cassette tapes, because this was before CDs. CDs didn't exist at this time, but being that was the case, I took the cassette tape with the help of DJ Pure Logic, and I took the cassette and converted the analog to a CD, the Big Money album, and so I pressed that up. I'll put that back out because I just pressed up CDs with that, but I got albums, the Robert Lewis collection with that part on it, and the All Holes 2, and the Fury of Bass Patrol, and the book What God Loves. And let me say this to you, DJ Ice, because this is what I'm on. All of these things we discuss and we're talking about, and this is, since you asked me what I'm doing, so this is the next thing on the table. Man, let's do a movie, man.
A movie. I love it. First, let us know where fans can keep up with you and what you're doing. I mean, you've explained what you're doing with your music, but where can they find you online?
Facebook, Robert Lewis, RX Lord of Bass Patrol. I got RX Lord of Kings of Bass. That's on Facebook as well. On Instagram, Robert Lewis, author of What God Loves. On TikTok.
Let us know, what do you want the world to know about RX Lord?
I'm true to the game.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with every Miami bass enthusiast in your circle. And stay tuned for more legends, more history, and more 808 powered conversations right here on the Miami Bass Podcast.